right. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to our professional development training today. My name is John Roberson. You all are welcome to call me JR, and I'm joined with my colleague, Shane Nelson. Shane to introduce himself as well. But we're from the Leaders Up team, and we're super excited to have you all on the line with us today for our first of two professional development series. Today, we'll be discussing building power as a way to generate economic mobility, empowerment, and inclusion. So, with that said, let's go ahead and hop into our why we built this tool, right? So, again, we've designed this tool already in partnership with many community college practitioners, talent development partners from across the state of California over the last past few months here that we've been collecting insights and doing presentations to understand what are the necessary components that's going to be practical and feasible through application. So as we go through this, the tool isn't complete, right? We're really showing you all this first iteration of it to get your raw feedback. We want you guys to be brutally honest with us, radically transparent with us today. That's only going to help us strengthen the designs. And as we go into 2024, it'll be a perfect opportunity for us to invite many of you all back that's here joining us on the call and that has joined us for many previous sessions as well to now pilot the entire suite of assets that we're looking. And we'll be releasing additional information about that very shortly. And as we release, get through the holidays and kick off 2024. So stay tuned and keep a lookout on your email for that, of course. And we'll be making sure that we send that directly to your inboxes for those that opted in as well. But essentially, this tool is looking to provide that immediate support for classroom activities, office meeting, that professional academic advising session, those professional development curriculums, as well as drop-in needs of BIPOC talent across LA County and beyond. It's a place that we can really look to balance active growth and think about what safety, opportunity, and power really looks like to generate economic empowerment, mobility, and inclusion for talent that we're all serving and engaging throughout our different pursuits and works here. So with that, I'm super excited to now bring in I got one more slide actually before I do that. Let's go to the next slide here. So again, we've been alluding to this throughout our call this morning, but we wanted to be explicit around how we're envisioning you all can use this tool. So again, don't get caught in the syntax of the language here. If you guys got specific terminology that better resonate, please drop that in the chat for us. Let us know. And we'll take that into our feedback session. But we wanted to present to you guys first off how we envision you all using this tool, right? So this is an asset that, as many of you all have different program models or calendars or counseling sessions, academic calendars, meeting calendars, etc. We wanted to design something that would be able to meet all of your needs, something that we heard from some of the previous sessions there. So as you see here, our daily instance will be for those that are meeting with your students or talent every single day. You have a curriculum, and the student is somebody that you see frequently, and you can guarantee you don't have to go chasing them. Basically, you're guaranteed to know where they're at. You got their contact information. They're not hard to find. You know them on a first name basis. You're familiar with their face, etc. The daily approach will be best designed for them. As we look at the monthly may be for those that have a curriculum where you're only meeting once a week, or bi-weekly, or once a month, or you see this student on a more irregular basis. The monthly framework is designed to be a approach to best engage that specific audience. And then our last one, triage, which we'll dive into as well. Triage is really designed to meet the needs of those that are hard to reach. these are the ones that you see infrequently from time to time. They may drop in, you haven't seen them in months. But every now and then you know that like, hey, I have X amount of time with you right now. Let me best serve you as I can. The triage approach is designed, or our thinking is designed around really serving that audience there. So with that now, I finally like to bring in my colleague, the awesome Shane, to now sort of guide us, not sort of, excuse me, to now walk us through our power worksheet training. And yeah, Shane, bring you to the table here. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks so much, JR. How's it going, everyone? I'm Shane Nelson. I'm a consultant with Leaders Up. I'm also a former community college practitioner. So I'm super excited to walk you all through the activities that we built out because we believe that it's going to be a really powerful asset to your learning. But before we can actually finalize crafting it into an asset that meets your needs, we want your feedback, right? There shouldn't be a solution for you without your input in it. And so we're really excited to walk through each activity in detail across our Power book right now. So we start off with passions and interests. The core goal here is getting your students clear on where their skills live and their hobbies thrive. So as I move to this next slide, I'll tell you a quick story about students that I would work with where they would come in, and my focus was career development and entrepreneurship in the Center for Male Engagement at the Community College of Philadelphia. So I would get a student who'd say, hey, Shane, I'm really passionate about photography. I really think that this clothing line is going to get built up, and I really am passionate about engineering. Those are three distinct fields that require creativity, require working on multiple projects at once, and also require specific study pathways on campus. And so it was my job to ensure that that student had clarity on, hey, you might actually just be passionate about photography, and engineering is going to be how you sustain yourself for a while. And those things may shift over time, but let's get you focused so you can not only stay retained at the college, but also pursue graduation while maintaining those passions. And so this is where passion mapping comes in. Essentially, it's a helpful tool for anyone, right? You can use it as well, where near the end of the year, it might be good to get a passion map going for yourself before you start doing New Year's resolutions. And it helps you figure out what you want to get out of life. So it can help you identify interests and passions, explore different career options, set goals for the future, and develop a deeper sense of purpose. And the great thing is you don't need any fancy tech. You just need paper, a whiteboard, markers, and pens. And ultimately, you start asking these questions connected to our learning objectives here, right? Asking a student, what do you love to do? What is most important to you in life? What impact do you want to make on the world? What specific steps do you need to take to reach those goals? How can you make your choices align with your passions, values, and goals? And then living a more fulfilling and meaningful life, right? What does it mean to create a life that is both enjoyable and purposeful? JR already mentioned that one of the core elements that we promote here at Leaders Up is balanced active growth. We like to tell the talent that we end up working with through our partners that you can't get a bag without building that bag, right? That balanced active growth. So how are you sustaining yourself while you're seeking out economic empowerment and making sure that your safety is centered psychologically and physically? You have access to opportunities that are equitable. And now that you have clarity on your passions, right, you can understand where those power imbalances are and how you need to start identifying ways to get people to share power with you. So we'll hold here for a discussion. Let's go on to our next section. So this is where we took all of our passions and interests, and now we want to really start honing in on where those opportunities for growth are. So if you're a passionate artist engineer, where are your opportunities to grow? Do you need to get more detail oriented? Do you need to be clear in your communication? And this activity really helps you pinpoint the specific gaps in a career journey and take action to elevate. So at a very high level, right, you may need a whiteboard or a projector just to get an external view with the talent that you're working with, maybe some markers and pens for notes, and then potentially some vision board supplies. Again, we're doing this at the perfect time. I think I might actually apply this to myself. for some of the goals that I have going into next year, really pinpointing where I want to grow and where I want to move. So here, the students get an opportunity and talent get an opportunity to brainstorm a list of different ways in which they want to develop a plan to help them grow. So now that they have their passions and interests, it's imperative for them to understand where they need to grow to reach those passions and interests with a lens on purpose, with a lens on balanced active growth. And then they'll share their plan with you, right? And you'll provide the feedback there. And again, with all of our activities, right, you can use this in the daily, monthly, or triage setting. We really wanted to bake that in so that these tools are incredibly flexible and meet the demands of the talent that you're seeing every day. So we really want everyone to understand that this in particular, or this activity in particular, focuses on knowledge gathering, skill development or skill identification, and then finally making sure that there's an attitude shift. Because once you have all your passions and interests, and it may be more than 3, it may be more than 13, that can be disheartening to kind of figure out where you want to start. And this activity helps cut through the noise, create some really awesome lanes and pathways to actually meet those goals, and leave you with a feeling of a higher self-efficacy that you can actually get it done, which is incredibly important. So with all that said, what are your thoughts? It's a whole self-reflection. This is where we start asking those questions outside of professional goals to live a broader life. One of the core elements that we practice here at Leaders Up is making sure that we're developing talent to engage in economic empowerment en route to this larger movement of building an anti-racist economy. And we can't get to an anti-racist economy if everyone's tired. So if we're pursuing all these different financial gains, we also have to pursue personal gains, potentially spiritual gains, and mental gains as well. So this is where whole self-reflection comes in and really shines. So this is where you're developing a better understanding of yourself and your needs from the kind of talent and student perspective. Again, there's identifying areas of where to grow and develop, right? So maybe opportunities for growth had more of the professional focus. This is where we get a little bit more internal and figuring out, what do I need to sustain me from a routine perspective? This is also where we start setting pathways for well-being. You also get an opportunity to help your students uncover and your talent uncover space to support themselves in achieving their goals, right? So essentially, talent take a few minutes to reflect on each area of their well-being that they want to define. Maybe it's 2 areas, maybe it's 12. And they write down a few words or sentences about each one. After they've had a chance to reflect, they're invited to share either with you as a staff member or support, or some of their friends. And as you can see here, we're keeping a lot of these tools very low tech to ensure that anyone can use it regardless of barriers. So this can easily be done on someone's notes app. This can easily be done on a laptop. But for you all as the practitioner, we want to encourage the use of either a Google Doc that both of you have access to, or a piece of paper or a journal that you can snap a photo of for your records as well, because this helps build a more robust case file as you manage, your kind of case log of students. I know for me, I was having difficulty managing 75, and sometimes it felt like 7,500, right? So we want to make sure we stay organized with each of these tools, and that's what we wanted to build in here. And so now let us know what you think. Empowering communication and advocacy. So where we're at now in our journey is we've taken the time to identify what we're passionate about, what we're interested in from that. And this is where we're thinking in that talent lens, that student lens. We've identified opportunities for growth professionally, and then we've reflected on where we want to grow outside of our journey of economic empowerment. And obviously these things intersect, but oftentimes when we're working with talent, they'll see money as one area of opportunity, and then their personal life as another. And it's our job, right, collectively, to make sure that we see those things in a holistic lens. So this is where we start providing that practice space for using voice from a place of self-worth. So this is where we're helping our talent, we're helping our students develop those core communication skills, rather than going in with either a deficit mindset or saying, this employer is giving something to me, this individual is giving something to me, right? Talent now have the opportunity to practice saying, this is how I'm adding value to your organization. This is how I'm an asset to you in this partnership. And it can be done individually or a group. We recommend a group setting because it gives everyone an opportunity to actually pour into each other. And that's a rare opportunity to build community. And it's something that's just been really brilliant to watch as we've practiced different versions of this skill with others. And so this is where you're practicing either with a whiteboard or projector, again, markers or pens, really understanding baseline negotiation tactics, what language you need to use to build relationships with those in the field, how to give and receive feedback, and also manage emotions in difficult conversations. Because some of the talent that we're working with, some of the students that are learning on our campuses, this may be their first time entering corporate settings after they're done with us. And oftentimes, I'm sure everyone has that one story where we've had to hit a per my last email, or you've had to maybe adjust how you're approaching a colleague because for whatever reason, you're sending something out to them and it's really not getting picked up, right? So how do we teach that, or how do we provide a safe and empowering space to go after work opportunities to communicate and hone their skills from an executive presence perspective? Because it's important to also use this particular session of empowering communication and advocacy to help our talent understand that just because you're at the entry level doesn't mean you can't get to the executive. You may just be a few roles away from that. So this is where we really hone that in. So now let's communicate. So here's where we walk everyone through, and we wanted to provide another level of detail here for this one, getting into the reflection, they're identifying the opportunities. And then this is where we start thinking about developing that communication plan. What specific messages do you want to communicate? Going back to our example of our artist engineer, are you promoting yourself? And this is a question that you can ask that talent, that student. Are you promoting yourself as an artist first or an engineer first? Why? Right? Really start getting the juices flowing and the thinking going of how that individual wants to present themselves for economic empowerment. And then as we get past the strategies, this is where we start taking action. Set that challenge. Go ahead and build a LinkedIn. Go ahead and tap in with Leaders Up and their career coaches so that they can help you practice continually. And then also reinforce that talent shouldn't be afraid to speak up and share their voice. And also the nuance and the finesse component of using their voice at the ideal timing, right? So if it's their first meeting and the entire team is there, speaking up past the introduction stage may not bode well for them for that kind of smooth landing into a new role. However, if they identify something that is quote unquote weird in the office, we can use this activity to help them actually understand that what they're experiencing isn't weird. It may be a condition of the workplace that's unsafe. And now they're getting the opportunity to add value, not only to their direct role, but also the culture of the organization. And that's really powerful. And then finally, giving folks the opportunity to evaluate, right? Because you're not going to get it right on the first try. I know for me, my first role was a lifeguard. I'm definitely not near a pool right now. So being able to understand and evaluate what went well, what could have gone better, and what you hope to learn to reinforce going back to the start, right, of those passions and interests, those opportunities for growth, and that whole self-reflection. So then we really want to close out, right, with reflection and feedback. We want to reinforce this habit of self-assessment and collecting insights. At the end of the day, Alan Henry tells us in the book, Seen, Heard, and Paid, that data is currency in the workplace. And we want to make sure that talent have the opportunity to get their coins up, if you will, build that currency. So this is where we're helping students, again, take that full experience in of the activity. They now understand where their interests are, where their skills are, what their values are, their goals. They've researched, they have voice. And now it's important to put those feedback loops in. And so this helps talent and students learn more about either education and experience requirements they may need, salary ranges that they're aiming for, or job duties associated with the pathways that they've defined. It's more detailed than just simply saying, hey, I was on IG, I might want to get into trucking. Okay, cool. Now let's actually map that out so we're not putting talent at risk or students at risk of being stuck in the same loop of just tons of digital ebooks. No shade to digital ebooks, but I know personally as an educator, I want to see folks do more. And I know Leaders Up, we see everyone wanting to do more by way of economic empowerment, right? Trucking and what, for example. So now we want to hear from you. So we want to thank you so much for the valuable time and contributions that you've given to us. Huge round of applause. It may sound weird if you're just the only one clapping in the office, but definitely give yourself a round of applause. Use this survey here to give us feedback. At the end of the day, if we're not practicing, our own form of reflection and feedback, are we really doing it right? Are we walking our values? So give us back. And I do want to give us one last closeout point. And I'll actually pass that over back to JR to talk about Equity Unleashed. So JR, it's on you.
All right, Shane. Thanks, man. And man, awesome job, man. Appreciate you walking us through the tool, man. And to everybody that joined us today, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys just really shared some amazing gems with us that we're super excited to take back and share back with our insights and experience team. And I mean, today was powerful. No pun intended here. But yeah, we really are super thankful and appreciative. And to just continue the same level of energy, we wanted to make sure that we share with you all our more information about our Equity Unleashed series. So just this past week, we'll make sure that we include this in the information and in the details. You can like click the link and read all about it and see our video recap as well from one of our Equity Unleashed spotlights on the website and everything. But this is our 4-part event series that's really aimed at identifying and helping articulate what the vision for economic empowerment, mobility, and inclusion looks like through the lenses of our BIPOC young adults here in LA County. So we had an awesome launch event where we had a number of talented developers and employers and young adults from all across the county join us in some exciting dialogue and ideating around what their vision is, the talent themselves vision is. And now we're looking to continue this same energy. We wanted to make sure that we invite you all to join us on our next event that will be targeting our talent development partners, our community college partners, and so forth. So we'll make sure that you all joining this call today get that information. Following that one, we'll have one that's specifically targeting employers and our employer friends. So some of you all on this call today may be entrepreneurs, have other endeavors outside of your roles. So if that applies to you, we definitely want to see you on that one as well. But for those that have networks that tap into employer networks as well, we'll be sure to send you that information too. So with that said, and then we'll have a accumulating event where we'll sort of bring everybody together and we'll announce, again, sort of what the key learnings from this discovery period is as we look to move into designing vehicles of designing a framework and new forms of apprenticeships as vehicles of attaining the dream that BIPOC young adults set forth for themselves. So a lot of exciting work that we got going on in 2024, as you guys can see here. So we're super excited to have you guys on this journey with us. Again, thank you for joining us today. And with that said, again, special shout out to my colleague Shane. Again, appreciate your leadership and guidance through the framework and everybody joining the call today. Let you guys go. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow.